With the selection of a jury in the Sean Diddy Combs case almost complete, prosecutors are preparing for opening arguments on Monday. But they admit there's a snag. One of their key witnesses against the rapper appears to have gone missing. This comes as we learn that Combs' ex-girlfriend, who was seen on video being assaulted by the rapper, is pregnant.
Diddy's trial ain't even popped off yet, and baby, it's already given scandal before they even open them courtroom doors. Word on the curb, one of the star witnesses, victim 3, done straight up, vanished into thin air. Prosecutors out here looking lost cause she ghosted him, and that's looking real suspicious. When a witness that crucial just dips, oh yeah, that could shake this whole case to the core.
Sean Diddy Combs' trial backing out? Victim number 3, as she's called, was set to testify against the music mogul. The name of victim number 3 was going to be revealed when she took the stand, but the woman has apparently gone missing, and prosecutors say they've been unable to reach her.
People just get nervous, and this person could just be nervous and just has had second thoughts.
If the prosecutor can't find this witness, how might it affect the case?
Look, I don't think it's going to have a tremendous effect. The prosecution is going to call a number of alleged victims. So look, this is just one less.
Someone else is also getting cold feet. A juror sent an email to the judge asking to be removed from the panel for issues of personal well-being.
One legal insider breaking it all the way down said this right here is a major blow. When someone that vital goes poof, baby, it makes it way harder to lock a conviction in place. He said with a case this loud and messy, sometimes folks just want to lay low and vanish. Still, he thinks the prosecution might push through if they weren't betting heavy on her words. Another lawyer chimed in too, said when folks start disappearing, the pressure on the case builds up even more. And since it's really just a small crew of accusers willing to take the stand, even with all them wild lawsuits flying, this right here could tip the scale. One ex-FBI agent spilled to News Nation that witnesses gon' need some serious protection as this circus plays out.
These testimonies are going to be extremely important. Building a case against someone as high profile as Diddy is not an easy job. So I'm going to bring in former FBI agent Bobby Chacon to talk more about this. So off the bat, Bobby, how do you build a case against a celebrity as well-resourced and powerful as Diddy?
Well, it takes a lot, Sylvia, as you know, because the allegations in this case range from like 2004 to 2024. So this is going on for 20 years, and they're finally getting around to charging him now and trying now. That's because it's so difficult to get people who are not afraid to come forward. This person was powerful, they were rich, they had a lot of influence, they were allegedly violent. So all of those things add up to making it very difficult for investigators to get people to talk to them about these. You add in the fact that many of these things are embarrassing, they're of a sexual nature, they're private, they take place behind closed doors, and that adds to the reticence of witnesses coming forward and talking about these things. And so investigators have to do a lot of long, hard work in getting these witnesses to trust them, number one, to make sure they feel like they are being treated, not as a pawn in a game to get Diddy, but as people that really care, that the prosecution cares about these people. And so you bring in victim witness people who are trained really and have the background in talking to people who are maybe victims of alleged sexual violence. And so you bring in specialists that kind of can talk to people like that and get them to open up about these things and to trust the investigators and trust the prosecutors, that they're just not going to be thrust into a situation. You have to get them to trust you so that if someone does make a threat, even if it's veiled, people can do that on social media now. They can say things that are kind of a little bit wonky sometimes, or these bail threats. So if the witnesses that you're developing are comfortable enough with you, they will bring those threats to you, or those situations where they might feel threatened. You always have on the federal level, we have the witness protection program, right, which is one run by the U.S. Marshal Service. That's kind of a very extreme step, because that's somebody you change their identity, you move them to another part of the country, they're not allowed any contact with previous people in their lives. So it's the witness protection program is one of the more extreme steps that you take, but there are other steps you can take to ensure the witness that they're not going to be subject to that. If anyone does make a statement that's even considered something like that, you send a team to go out and investigate and to question that person and to get them to maybe make a retraction or to kind of back off a little bit. So you do have to do a good job at making sure the witnesses are comfortable that if anything should happen that they feel uncomfortable about, they bring it to you, and then you have to address it in the ways that are available to you.
Diddy's facing some straight up wicked charges. The feds out here saying he ran a whole criminal playground under his businesses like Bad Boy Entertainment. They claim he used threats, weapons, and every kind of abuse. Mental, physical, sexual, you name it. The original docs even dropped a hint that Diddy might clap back at anybody bold enough to speak up. And the gag is, they claim he's still trying to pull strings and scare folks while locked up, like his reach got no limits.
Well, I mean, on the surface, if the prosecutor's claims are true, this seems like pretty much textbook witness tampering, right? I mean, it appears to be an effort to either, in some cases, intimidate witnesses from testifying against him, or there have been other reports of sort of inducing people to make statements in his defense. There was some allegation that in one instance this was a statement that he, in essence, dictated or drafted with a woman who made a statement that was attempting to rebut one of the accusers, I believe, in a civil case against him. I mean, witness tampering is bad. The things that Sean Combs is accused of are terrible. He pleads his innocence. The justice system will presumably work its way through.
It is likely that there is some underlying truth to at least some of the allegations. There might be a lot of underlying truth to a lot of the allegations. There's probably some bandwagoning going on. We spoke to an attorney who's for one of the victims, of alleged victims of Diddy a few weeks ago. I believe Amber Nomiki and I did, and you know, they said they had calls, they had information, they had people, hundreds of them, come forward. They're not going to represent all of them. They're, you know, which ones have evidence that can be compelling. What are the best cases to bring that? I also saw a story in the New York Post. This is from a week ago about Diddy stuff that I wanted to read the headline of. Woman claims she saw minors dressed as Harajuku Barbies at Sean Diddy Combs' freak-off parties, what he was describing there to Conan so many years ago. Said these were sex-fueled parties with what she initially thought were little people dressed as Japanese Barbies. And she said, this is her talking to TMZ, are those midgets? And she actually thinks they were kids dressed up and sexy. So again, that's just from someone who provided this information to TMZ for a documentary, but pretty disgusting.
It is. No, that's...
He's been slapped with charges like extortion, racketeering, and moving bodies for prostitution. If the jury says guilty, Diddy could be staring down a minimum 15 years, or end up rotting in there for life. He's still out here hollering he ain't did nothing. But before they could even get to the opening arguments, jury selection hit a snag. Some folks want no parts of this madness. The judge said they just trying to keep the process smooth and drama-free. And Johnny Depp's lawyer, Ben Chu, even spoke up about what kind of folks Diddy might want to see sitting on that jury.
I think you want somebody who wants to serve, someone eager to serve, because that suggests that person might be inclined toward a celebrity like Diddy. I would also, in this case, I would want men, not because men support abuse, but I could see this being very difficult for women jurors. I would want younger jurors as well. I don't know that older jurors would be good for him.
Do you care where they get their news? Do you care if they go on social media?
I wouldn't care so much about social media. Certainly watching you on Law and Crime would be a real problem. But no, I wouldn't care too much. I mean, in fact, if they were reading the celebrity media, TMZ, Rolling Stone, you know, that might be an encouraging thing for Diddy's counsel.
Now, Ben, according to the court today, they expect preemptory challenges on Friday.
Meanwhile, Diddy's lawyers trying to flip the script, claiming some of his past entanglements weren't just him wildin'. They saying it was mutual madness. But legal experts not having it. They say just because it was messy on both sides don't mean Diddy gets a pass. The real gag? It's all about power. Who had it and who used it to control. And if Diddy was flexing his fame and money to keep people scared and in check, that's still abuse. Step out of line, you became a target. Go ask Aubrey O'Day what kind of hell she went through.
I wasn't willing to do what was expected of me. Not talent-wise, but in other areas. It's difficult when you're that young to understand your worth as a woman through the men that I was around, and that was very traumatic. I don't think any of us have healed from that. Diddy would be like, you're not hot anymore. Like, what happened? You don't have anything, like, you don't have any curves. You're looking like you're not looking like, I can't get people to think that you're my good looking person. And there was no Me Too at that time. There was no protecting anyone at that time. You signed a million NDAs and a million contracts that took away all your rights.
Then Gene Deal slid in with receipts exposing what Diddy really had planned for her girl group. And baby, it was sick to the core. Word is he was trying to straight up turn them girls out, like legit pimp them.
And I know you ain't signing. I know you ain't signing NDA, clearly. But did he make his artists sign NDAs and people that work for him?
Well, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these industry people, anybody who does business nowadays with the internet, they have NDAs, non-disclosure. That means that if you work for them, you around them, you can't disclose any of the information about them. It's the same thing that he gave to all his artists when he gave them their publishing back. I'm gonna give y'all publishing, but y'all can't talk about Janice Combs, Justin Combs, Sony, Bad Boy, or anything that happened. Y'all can't talk about none of that. But there's some artists that didn't say anything, that didn't sign it, and they able to talk about anything they want to. And I think that's those girls that was, I think Danny DeCane. I think a couple of them didn't sign it. And boy, oh boy, they probably gonna go after him too. Cause I heard him, and I'm giving you this, Aubrey. He stood up there and he said in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio, and I said something to him and walked out the studio. He said, yo, I'm gonna drug their ass off and pick them up and pip them out to my nigga. He said, I'm gonna drug them out. I'm gonna get them all on drugs, and I'm gonna pimp their earth out to my. I was like, there's somebody kids, and walked out. And it's somebody that heard me. It's somebody that heard me. I mean, well, it's not only somebody that heard me, it's somebody that I know who was in the studio at the time that happened, and I still talk to him today. And we were just talking about that the other day. He done moved back to Indiana. I don't know why. I'm gonna give you that one. He said he was gonna drug them all out and pimp them out.
By week's end, the jury should be locked in. And this whole thing? It's a wild downfall for a man who once ran the charts, ruled the brands, and touched billionaire status. Now, it's looking spooky, because there's talk of hundreds more cases headed his way. Lawyer Andrew Van Arsdale, who reps 37 clients with civil suits already filed, told CNN he got 400 more sitting in the wings. He said folks still too terrified to come forward because they scared what might happen if Diddy walks. Van Arsdale said his clients stayed quiet for years because Diddy had power to kill careers with just a look. They think, what if this man gets off? What if he out by the summer? That fear eats him up daily. Are people still shook? And honestly, it sounds just like what Tony Busby teased earlier this year, saying he got a whole arsenal of cases stacked up. Van Arsdale said his org got nearly 27,000 calls about Diddy. After cutting through the noise and weeding out the trolls, around 15,000 seemed serious. And once they sifted through all that tea, over 400 could turn into full-blown lawsuits, and a few of them, phew, they could blow this whole case wide open.
Is that he need to take his counsel advice. Because if he think he's gonna get out of this from the federal government, he out his mind. They in the process of plea bargaining, trying to do a plea bargain session with him, and he's not taking it. That's probably why one of the lawyers jumped off the case. Remember Benjamin Bradford? His first lawyer with the Cassie situation, he said, give her the 10 million and make this go away, brother. He ended up giving her 30 million. He's not taking the lawyer's advice. 9 times out of 10, they probably got him a good plea bargain. Yo, listen to me, we can give you 15 years. 10 or 15 years. You do that, you come out, you only have to do like 12, 13. Come off to a halfway house, you still could live some of your life out as a free man. He don't want to hear it. So it is what it is. The federal government do not want to go to court. 9 times out of 10, they want a plea bargain with you. You understand? You accept the plea, you accept the time, you go ahead, you save the government money, you save them time and effort and manpower. If you don't believe that that white guy was a plant, then something is wrong with you. He done sold them enough drugs, but they haven't hit him with that charge. They haven't did him with that charge yet, or that we know of. If you don't believe that they're gonna try to hit him with those guns in there, they saving all that for last. The drugs, the guns. They'll do another superseding indictment and add those two up if you don't take the plea. If you don't take the plea bargain to the sex trafficking or whatever, stuff like that, they're gonna say, okay, let's add the guns to it and let's add the drugs to it.
How you feel about Keefe D? He out here crying to come home, man.
Keefe D, I think is a mistravesty of justice. That Keefe D is still in jail without a bail, or they're not making his bail low enough for him to go home. For the fact of the matter is that Keefe D was told to say something by an LAPD officer who was writing a book, doing a movie, and making himself rich off of an event that happened in our culture. And that he's in jail because the cops said a lot of these things first.
Van Arsdale ain't the only one coming for Diddy in court. There's at least a dozen lawyers backing victims with lawsuits coming from all directions. These claims span across states, decades, and different walks of life. One of them even got LeBron's name tangled in the drama. Now prosecutors drop in even more receipts, and word is, it links tight to the civil claims being thrown at Diddy. Even though them court docs got parts blacked out, legal insiders swear the feds hinting at some serious underage mess. It's all part of their mission to show a sick pattern of abuse. With over 36 lawsuits and a whole video of him going hands-on with Cassie. Baby, the prison countdown is clicking real loud. This latest motion came after Diddy's team tried 4 times to toss out key evidence and expert witnesses. They crying foul now, saying the baby oil, freak-off tapes, and everything scooped from his mansion was grabbed illegally, saying them warrants weren't legit. They begged the judge to throw it all out, but Judge Aaron Subramanian said nah, it's all good to go, which means them nasty tapes might just play in full view for everybody and their mama to see. Out of the 60-plus lawsuits orbiting Diddy's name, 2 already got the boot. One woman dipped cause she ain't want to go public, and another dropped her claims against both Diddy and Jay-Z after Jay denied it all and her story got messy. Diddy's lawyers been out here digging up more contradictions too. One man went live on CNN back in December 2024, but what he said on camera ain't match what he wrote in them court papers. Van Arsdale chalked that up to a simple mix-up with the forms and said it's all fixed now. Even though Diddy's criminal and civil cases are separate on paper, Van Arsdale said some of his clients are working with the feds and might be taking that stand. He said this right here feels like the first time the system actually given his people a real shot. Van Arsdale said he ain't letting up. He gon' fight tooth and nail. He said, my folks gon' shout with joy when that man's convicted and locked up. But the truth? The next step in their healing journey is watching Diddy get held responsible for every bit of pain he caused.
Day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.